Okay, that's probably enough time. I got things set up on my end now. I hope everyone's doing good tonight. Switch over to this camera. We'll move over to here. Okay. Okay, clear my throat again. There. Wow, there's more echo here than before, but that doesn't matter. Hello and welcome. Today, instead of continuing the Space Wolves like I did last time, mostly because I have to keep my area clear for personal reasons, I'm just going to be painting the stream. I've been having this Norn Emissary sit on my desk for quite a while now. I figured it's about time I kind of go through and paint it. I started it quite a few months ago. I have a rough paint scheme I'm going to do, but I don't know. I'm mostly going to be working in browns and blues for this. I want to kind of copy the High Fleet Typhon paint scheme. I know they came out with a new kill box. So yeah. How's it going, Jack? Not much is going up right now. Not much. Kind of excited to do a stream and all that. Didn't know if I would be able to do a stream today or not, but I am able to, so I'm glad I'm here for it. Just gonna make sure I get everything all wet down and ready. Everything's clean. I'm not used to things being clean here today, but I had to keep things cleaned. But keep it simple, see how far we get with paints and colors right now for that. I'm trying to think if I want to go and start with the browns. I probably should because they sit higher up and then do the blues. I'm going to be mostly working in contrast for these guys. Or for this guy. Let me just grab it. Mostly using Citadel's, like, I'm not even trying to pronounce that. I'm just going to say, like, Gorfer. And I'm debating whether if I use the Storm Fiend blue or if I use Leviathan blue. I might use Leviathan blue. Hey, no worries. I'm just glad you're here for a little bit. Ooh, the Hollowed Whip. Or the Hollowed Watch. I have to look that up. I might get into Age of Sigmar. I do have like a box I want to sit on. Or I have a Spearhead box that I'm sitting on. They're like Lizardmen, and I like Lizardmen. But I got a skeleton from like the model of the month, and I painted that, and I'm like, I think I like the undead from Sigmar a little bit. So we'll see if I get into that or not. But yeah, I'm gonna just try and go with that. So far I get here. Life is kind of throwing a wrench at me right now, I'd say, in life. I mean, yeah, I'll say it right now. My landlords are selling the apartment that I'm staying in right now, and I had to get everything cleaned up here for the realtors to take photos and stuff, and now I don't know. I mean, it's not sold yet, but I don't know how fast it would sell, and I'm hoping. I don't want to move out of this. We moved into this place because the landlords were selling the last apartment I was in, and they also upped the rent so much that we couldn't be there. So now I'm like, am I back into the situation I was almost a year ago? So I would be working on the Space Wolves tonight if that wasn't the case. I would rather be working on those guys. But this guy's been sitting on the shelf long enough, and he deserves some love and attention. I wasn't sure if I was actually going to do that blue and brown. I thought I was going to repaint this guy and do like the black contrast paint and stuff, but I might do the entire Tyranid army in blue. Start working on these guys. I'm not sure what I'll do for like the brain parts. I don't know if I want that to be blue, if I'll do green. I thought about doing green. Hello, Hannibal. Glad to see you here in stream again. I hope you're having a good evening. Let's see. It's my homebrew Chaos Chapter Warband. Yes, you did talk about it. The Ultramarine, yes, the Ultramarine Successor Chapter that fell to Chaos. Yes, you did talk about that. That's nice that you put some more work into them and not. Yeah, I remember, because I said they sound very similar to original World Eaters back during Horus Heresy. I remember now. I remember. I'm not trying to be too crazy with the paint right now. I feel like I'm going to add a few layers of this contrast paint on top to get it to the right coloring sections. I'm not too I mean, like, I'm upset about the apartment, but at the same time, like, I don't own it or live it. I could technically buy the apartment I'm staying in. I'm actually staying in a house. But I can only get like a $200,000 loan for the place, and they want $275,000. So I don't know. The other hard part is they have an open house on Monday, and I can't be here from like 2 to 7. So like I got to find something else to do after work. But that's just life. Like, yeah, I couldn't move back with my parents. I don't want to. The other side thing I did today, kind of while going through that, is I talked with. I've said this a few times on stream, how I wanted to do some cosplay stuff, and that I think I mentioned a buddy's garage I used to do it in. Well, I went back to that friend's. I can turn down the music if it is too loud. Be a little bit better, and then I can up my voice. Somehow my computer likes to mess with my voice every once in a while. I don't know why it does that. We're gonna go to sound. No, it dropped. I always up it to like around 92, something like that, and it drops it down to like 70. No, you are fine. If there are things in like stream and stuff that I don't notice, I want to make sure people can, let me know or not. I thought the music on my end was loud, but that's just in my headphones and stuff. Other than that, like, there's a few times that people have said, like, oh, hey, the stream is black on their end. It's because my phone wasn't plugged in. This time I do have the phone plugged in and charging. So that is all working this time. But yeah, what I was saying is I will be starting some of the metalwork video stuff that I talked about a couple streams ago there, Hannibal. Or at least last stream. Because I talked with a friend. He's like, yeah, you can use the space. We can clear out a small spot. And I'm like, perfect. And then we just hung out and chatted for a bit and going from there. So I think by Wednesday I'll have my stuff over there. least my blacksmithing stuff, and I'll start working on that outfit. I did a bit more shopping today, and I found myself a pair of pants for it, and I got a pair of gloves. Everything else I found. Like, I got the base, I would say. Like, the shirt, the vest, I got the overcoat. So I'm excited to work on that. And go through there with it. Kind of realized as I get older and like what I like doing with my hobbies, I just want a workshop with an apartment that I can live up above it. And that's just kind of my dream, I think, right now with where I want to go in life. That'll make me the most happiest, where I can just go and work on stuff and then just be able to sleep in the workshop. See how far I can get down in there. Other than that, how is stream doing today? Or not stream, how's chat doing today? I hope everyone's having a good weekend. So far, I've had a... definitely say it's a good weekend. Just normal life stuff is what's happening. Happens to everybody. Oh, excuse me. I am actually happy to have this guy. I'm happy to start painting this guy. We'll see how it goes from there, but I think he will turn out really nice. I almost thought initially I was going to do brown and greens with these guys, which is why I did the brown, and almost treat them like trees in a way, just because of how the paint looked, but I think brown and blue will be much better of a color scheme. Going through. I might actually still incorporate the green. I think I'll do the green for the parts in between that are the inner parts and where the brains part kind of come through. Ooh, nice. Nice. I'm assuming you are playing the computer game where you get to play as the different factions. I have played that a bit. I play as the lizardmen in that, and I kind of despise Skaven and orcs, but that's just because they're my two neighbors, and I have no other allies around me that can actually help. But I'm also bad at battles. Oh, my roommates yell at me. But I have a bad time with war strategy games. Might have to step away for a second and do something quickly. Ooh, the pen and paper. I've not done any pen and paper ones. I'll have to look it up. You'll have to tell me how it is. You will have to tell me how the pen and paper game is. I would be interested in doing one with friends and all that at some point. There's a pen and paper game I want to play. If I remember correctly, the name of it is Never Going Home. It's like a World War I style game. I'm not... I have to relook at the book and remember how it's... like what they describe it as and all that. I have a bit more paint to the brush. Go into there. I love the look of this model, but there's so many sharp angles and so many like little corners that I'm trying to get paint knocked into just enough. Oh. I think someone just subscribed. This is what that noise was. I will check. But whoever did, thank you for doing so. That sounds like the Skaven way. Just steal stuff and cause chaos. I would think most tabletop games are, or pen and paper ones can be kind of confusing. I haven't found any that are simple and straightforward, is how I would word it. Definitely, I mean, but it depends on who you have running the game, depends on the players. I always say it's good to have a session zero with everyone so that you can all kind of discuss and be like, hey, this is what we want to do for a game. This is what the players want to get out of it, what the DM kind of has planned, and gets everyone on a page one of everything. I always try to have a session zero when I run games. I like to be a part of, or like my DMs to do session zeros. I'm like trying to do one side at a time before I move on to the other. But I do want to do the other half. Yeah, you know what? Why not? Wasn't sure if I was going to do this top spot as brown or not, but I will, and I'll make it... I think I have an idea for this spot. Oh, there's so much paint on there. We can get off just a little bit. I know a lot of stuff I've done has been for the Imperium and all that, but I do like the Tyranids. Just, I mean, obviously I have a couple models here and there, but I like them because they're a big, like, stomping monster. I like the more monster style models they have. I've always been a fan of, like, Godzilla and, like, dinosaur movies. So being able to, like, paint my own big monster for the battlefield, it's kind of nice. Although I've never played on the tabletop with Tyranids yet. And I do want to. And I know I've said this a few times on stream, but the new Kill Team box that came out, I finally got that. Oh, that is dark. That is way darker than I want. I'll actually hit these a little bit more. But I finally got the new box. I want to sit down and build it, but I'm going to wait until I know I'll be good for a bit. I might do that on stream. I might not. I'm tempted to do it on stream, but I think the Space Wolf box is what I should complete first on the Kit Bash corner, and then we'll move on to the other ones. We'll admit these big stroke or open areas are very hard to not leave brush streaks at. That's what I'm trying not to do. I do like how dark that is. Kind of feel like excuse me. Thank you, Hannibal. Yeah, no, 40K is not a good world to be a part of. It is meant to be the, like, no one wants to live there. You don't want to be in 40K. I don't think, yeah, you don't want to be in 40K, and I don't think you want to be in fantasy either, because both kind of suck. Although I think fantasy is a little less sucky from what I understand. With that being said, yeah, it's Warhammer is known as grimdark. It's a mixture between, well, I would say horror, because there's a lot of scary things out there. Ooh, okay. So yes, I can, because I have read a couple. One that I haven't read yet, but I do want to, that some people kind of recommend, is called The Infinite and the Divine. It follows a race in 40K called the Necrons, but it mostly follows two characters. And it's over like 10,000 years. I haven't read it yet, but I've heard that's a good one to start, because it's not part of a series. It's its own book standalone wise. That's one I've heard recommended. For me, honestly, I would say, I'm trying to remember, because I know Warhammer makes like a bunch. They have like a mini story collection, or at least like for audiobook, and I think they also do for like reading book as well. They have these audiobook collections, and I think those are really good to listen to or read as well. Especially the Start Here one. The Start Here one follows a few different groups in Warhammer. So it follows some alien races, it follows some human factions. I think that's a good one to start at. Another one that I'd like to start with, and this is again an audiobook one, it's the Imperial Guard like audio collection. I think that's a good one, because that gives you a range. That gives you a story about a group in a big tank when they try to take down a Titan and how that goes. It has a bit of a murder mystery a little bit, which is the first story. There's a murder mystery one that you listen to, and has a couple different, like, when you listen to the first time, you're unsure how the story goes with that one, and then at a second time you're like, oh, I see the breadcrumbs now after listening to it. Another one in the short story collection of the same like Imperial Guard one it follows a character called Caiaphas Cain. He's a commissar, and that's just a rank in the guard. If you want a more light-hearted, fun story, his are some good ones to listen to, and that has a short story one involving, I think, either Chaos or Tyranids, which is what I'm painting here. I've listened to a lot of Imperium and Space Marine books, so it also depends on like what faction you find interesting as well with 40k. Because it's really, I don't know if there's ever a good jumping off point into it from what I understand. For me, if there's a faction that you find interesting and you want to learn more about them, read their books and you will learn that way. I don't know if I helped at all with your question, but I'll just reiterate. There's 3 ways I would start listening to the books. You could do Infinite and Divine, which just follows 10,000 years with 2 characters, and you get a snapshot of everything. The Start Here audiobooks, or just be like the faction short story ones that gets you a small inkling, or just researching like a certain faction that you're interested in, and then yeah, no, you're not wrong. 40k writing does suck sometimes. It depends on the writer. On some books, actually, while I'm standing here, I'll show you the first book that I started with. So yes, I heard Infinite Divine is good. I gotta put that on my list. I just haven't yet. Oh yeah, there are hundreds of books. Hundreds. The first one I started with because I was interested in this character was the Lion, Son of the Forest. And I was interested in the Lion, and this is his most recent thing from... Or, like the most recent, what I understand, up to date on where he is in 40k. I haven't read this book, I just listened to the audio one, but this was a good one to listen to. One that I do need to read, and I thought was kind of funny. I was in a bookstore, and I'm like, I kind of want to find a 40k book, but I doubt this place has one. And I found this book sitting on the shelf. I have not read this one. I'm probably going to grab the audio, but I do want to read this one. I might find a coffee shop somewhere and sit down and read this Kaivis Kane one. I've listened to 2 of Kaivis Kane's books, and they're good. They're like, when I'm sick of being sad and depressed of the 40k universe, I will listen to a Kaivis Kane one or something that's a little bit more lighthearted. I definitely will say ones that involve Space Marines, they kind of get a bit boring after a while. Orc books are also fun. I listened to one that involved Catachan fighters and orcs. I thought it was going to be Catachans versus Tyranids, which is why I got it. But it turned out to be good because it gave me a good mindset between, you know, that faction of guardsmen and orcs. So those are also good books. But Infinite Divine would definitely be a good one to start. And then, I don't know, just researching. I do want to listen to some Age of Sigmar ones at some point just because I have models and I want to learn more about that world. So that's just kind of where I stand with it. I might have to step away for a second because I'm also doing laundry in the background and I have to go flop that out. So I have not read Dark Imperium yet. I have to grab my phone, which is up here being my camera, and list off what I've read and listened to. I think Dark Imperium would be good because from what you just said, it sounds like it's on the dark side of the Imperium, where there is no Emperor's Light. I am re-listening to the Dark Angel book, Secret War, and that one I kind of remembered how depressing it kind of felt to listen to. Yeah, I mean, besides Warhammer having a lot of books, I know the Horus Heresy does. And I've only listened to 2 books from the Horus Heresy. I forget the name of the first one. I have to look at it again. The second one was Valdor, Birth of the Imperium. Pile of Shame reveal. I mean, this has been sitting on my shelf on the Pile of Shame for a while, but no, not all of it. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, if I guess I'll have to listen to it and keep that in mind of a humorous look or not. But no, I'm kind of working on my Pile of Shame a little bit. I want to work on the Space Wolf box that I have. I want to keep kit bashing that, but because I have to keep my space cleaned for whenever realtors do an open house at my place on Monday, I can't have a bunch of stuff just lying around like I'd like to. So I grabbed a model I've had sitting on my shelf for a while, and I had painted ready for, because I was going to paint this with some friends, but we just played Magic instead, which I did good at Magic. I played one of my friend's decks because I didn't bring mine, and it was a Human Knight deck. I think it's black, red, and white I was playing. You mean like kilograms as in weight? Like that's how much it weighs? Like 5 kilograms? I don't know what a kilogram is either. I do have to be honest about that. I can list off how many models I have. Well, I'll start with armies. I have 4,000 point armies. Oh, okay. So you have 10 pounds? Holy crap, that's such a heavy army. Oh my lord. I feel like that's so much more than mine. Oh my lord. That's crazy to me. Yeah, no, my Pile of Shame is technically 2,000 points of Custodes. You could use that for weightlifting, yeah. I don't know if I need to do that for myself. On Friday, I moved 140 hay bales into a trailer, so I think I'm good on the weightlifting. I did not miss the hay dust with that. The other thing I've been doing, I've been more conscious of my health lately. I've been trying to do a bit of fasting more. Like not eat for 16 hours and then eat like not as much within an 8-hour period and all that. It's definitely worked. I'm definitely having to get used to like not doing it. I gotta get a 3D printer at some point. Probably when I'm actually set up in a proper place, I will get one. I can just kind of picture it. I'm like in my workshop. I got three 3D printers going. I'm painting some stuff. Oh my lord, I'm just picturing it. Wow, I'm glad I paint this guy white because the contrast works better. But holy crap, am I regretting it because there are so many nooks and crannies that I have to hit. Ooh, I did finish a book not too long ago involving the Norm emissary here. I think the book's name was Leviathan. It was just based on some no-name planet. An apothecary and the captain survived, and it was like against the Ultramarines. And I will say, after listening to that book, I'm more terrified of Tyranids. I do need to listen to Devastation of Baal, because that's a really good book, I hear. What are you guys all talking? You're talking about 3D printers. I should get one. I'm going to order more 3D parts for when I build my Space Marines and stuff, so they have more unique bits. One website that I am going to be going to, let's see if I can pull out their bag, because I have this for my Assault Marines. Is the name on here? Or not? I don't think the name's on here. I think it's like Dragoon Hammer, or Dragoon Minis is the name of like one website page that makes a bunch of bits for like models and stuff. And I definitely am going to be ordering some more. Or I'll be ordering bits. I just have the hammers right now, but I want to get some other bits. Start low and work our way up. I know this is going to be thick. We're going to pull this around and get it proper. You know what? I'll cover even these parts on the inside to give myself... Because I'm just going to paint those green. And it won't be with a contrast paint. It will be with a proper one. So that just saves me... And will let me actually pull these up a bit more. I kind of wanted to make... I'm thinking of making these guys like a mixture between a tree and a lizard in a weird way. Just like the color of the brown. Maybe make it look a little bit tree-like, and then the actual... Because I'm going to do the other parts, like the face and these arm parts, in blue. I think that'd be a very good color mix. I was saying earlier, I have 4 armies, Dorzo, that at some point I need to paint. I would be working on the Space Wolves like last stream, but I have to keep things kind of clean here. My landlords are selling my apartment, and I have to keep it clean for the realtors to be able to take pictures. They're doing an open house on Monday, so I can't just make a mess like I would normally do here. I have to keep things clean and organized for a little bit. So that is fun. Like I was saying, I think last time, I don't have it off to use my sweatshirt. Could probably buy the apartment I have, but at the same time, I want a workshop garage thing. Not even a garage, but no, that part's not fun. It's the second time it's happened to me. My previous apartment, which I liked more than this place just because of location and stuff. Yeah. I mean, here, because we're renting from someone else, I don't know all the laws and stuff when it comes to realtors and all that, but because the landlords are pulling up for sale and they're using a realtor company to do that, they're coming and taking pictures and all that to put it for sale. Like I said earlier, I probably could buy it for $200,000, but they want $275,000. So it makes it difficult in that aspect. It's not a bad spot. I'm not in a bad location either. But it just kind of like sucks because I feel like, oh, I'm doing well on YouTube here. I'm like getting into a groove and I'm like ready to start doing other things again. And then life just kind of throws a really good curveball at me. But I also don't know when this place is selling. It could be within 2 months. It could be within a couple years. No idea. And it's not that the landlords, like, they've offered it to us too. Like, it's not that they haven't offered the place to us. Stuff like that. So when I lived in that first apartment, it was around $1,200 or $1,100 a month, which is really good for what it was. It was a 3-floor place with like 3 bedrooms, so it was really good. I then moved out of that one, and in that time, it bumped up to like maybe $1,400 a month. Not that bad. Within less than a year of me moving to my secondary one, because I was living with my sister and we wanted a bit of space, so I got one with my friend. They jumped up from 14 to 1,900 in less than a year. I think it was within 7 months they jumped up that much in rent. And then when they had it at the 1,900 is when they decided to sell it. I have no idea if it's sold yet or not. The places that I was living have not been kept up to date since the 90s. The place was built in like 1990, and not a single appliance, building, wall, windows, nothing updated. The thing sucked to heat. Nice place to live, not a good building. At least that way. This is just adulting at this point that I'm talking about, and I'm just venting about it. But yeah, while me and my sister, because she was going through some stuff and we decided to live together again, we were looking for a place. Where I'm currently living, the landlords called my parents' business looking for snow plowing to be done, and because they were looking to put this place up for rent. Oh yeah, no, rent's been going up for a while. So yeah, I mean, I will admit I want to be a landlord because I want. Okay, I want to be a homeowner, but I have things I want to do in my life. Yeah. No, that's what I was living to. I was living in a condo style building. Now I'm living in a house and I'm paying $1,600 a month, which is not bad. 16 split with 2 people is $800 a month. That's not bad. It's the other bills that kind of get up into it. The other place when it's $1,900 a month, and then you got a $500 heating bill on top of it, plus other bills, that's when it becomes kind of a problem. And you have a heating bill that high because the building itself, you could feel the draft coming in through the windows. Like, that's how out of date it was. Oh, yeah. So, I mean, this place is no peachy either. It's only got one heater in the main building, and we have to use electric heat to heat everywhere else up in the house. Where I'm currently living, I have a farm field to one side, and the neighbors are dead quiet on the other side because it's a cemetery. And I have a woods out back. The neighbors are amazing. I have no complaints about the neighbors. In the last place, it was kind of weird because it was in the center of a town, but this place, I have no complaints. If I bought this place, because I do want to do some traveling, like I want to go back to North Carolina, I'd like to explore and find some other Warhammer stores in different states that I don't know why I want to do that. I just do, or I just want to travel and yeah, dead silent. But because I want to do some traveling stuff, I thought about if I bought this and I closed off the room that I have. Sorry, I'm just chat. I'd close up the room that I'd be using, probably add a few more beds, and put up on Airbnb and rent it out for like a month before I left for a trip or something. So I would have money coming in just to pay the mortgage. Not to make money on it, but just to be able to cover the mortgage for the month while I'm gone and traveling. And then I can come back and live here and do what I need to do here. It doesn't sound like a bad idea. It's just I have a decent amount of money in the bank. At least I feel it's decent for my age. But I could have been saving more to getting a home a lot sooner. But I've also not kept my money all in one spot. I've just spread it out a bit. I have a lifestyle I want to live, and I got frustrated with always being the same every year. So I researched a bunch of finance. I watched a bunch of finance videos trying to learn how to like accumulate wealth over time and stuff. And I had to learn like there's no quick way of doing it. It's going to take time to accumulate a lot of wealth. So I've just done it slowly. The hard part, though, yeah, that's the hard part with like owning a home. I am still a single guy. I have no other expenses. I don't own a house. Dorzo is the guy saying he owns a house. I want to own a house, but I also have other things I want to do. Yeah, from what I hear, Europe, it can be kind of hard to get a home. At least also depending on where you want to be. Like, I know some countries you can get a home very cheap, and then other ones, it's like an arm and a leg. If I had a friend on, I got one that is living in Austria, and his family owns property in Austria, but they've owned it, I think, since World War II. Yeah, no, I will admit, I've spent a couple thousand on Warhammer. I This is not me making wealth Warhammer wise. Warhammer is my fun activity. No, I put money. Yeah, trying to make more than I spend. I've had to tone down a lot to actually, like, on my spending. I've had to tone down a lot. Warhammer, when I first got into it, God, it was rough because I kept going like once a week to the Warhammer store and spending a couple hundred, and I was like, oh fuck. And now I'm like, okay, we won't spend as much because I kind of have what I want. And yeah, I've had to pull more overtime at work here and there. But what I'd like to do, at least I got a plan. I'd like to run my own business. It wouldn't probably be successful, but next year, or this winter and stuff, I'm going to be... Oh, Lord. I'm just kind of reading chat with that. For me, the closest game store, not Warhammer store, but game store that sells Warhammer is 30 minutes. And I'll happily drive like 30 minutes. If I lived next to a building, which I own, I was tempted to buy a house not far from the same store that I go and buy Warhammer at. That it was like down the street. I could have walked there and all that. That would have been a nightmare. But it's also in a town that I wouldn't mind moving because then it'd be 30 minutes from my friends that live in a bigger city. God, who knew that I'd be talking about financial stuff and housing in a stream about and with Warhammer. God, crazy stuff happening tonight. Crazy stuff. I am tempted to like open up myself to taking commissions with painting. And I'm not sure what I would charge for that, but I want a few more minis underneath my belt before I consider doing that, and trying to figure out what my time frame would be for people to actually say, because like, would I charge an army or would I charge... Okay. 50 minutes. Yeah, that's about the distance for me. I think it's a sign of being old. It's destructive. Honestly, yeah. Although, I'm like Warhammer has become a lot more popular recently, and I think that's because people that grew up with it when they were young are now that they're older, they're spending more money on it. So it's like that's why it's a lot more popular. I do have a PO box. I'm hoping he. Okay, either way, if he did 20K points or 20K in money, I'm concerned either way. Please, do not tell me you spent 20K. Okay. Oh, it's a joke. I'm like, dude, no. Yeah. The books are good. We were just talking about the books earlier because Hannibal was curious what books he should start with when reading into Warhammer. And when I told him it boils down to three things in my conversation, I've heard Infinite and Divine is a good one to start because it's a single story and you're following like one character through it all. But it from what I hear, it covers a few things. I haven't read it yet. I need to. Second, the like Start Here audio book series is a good one that covers a few factions and a few mini stories in it. Or any faction that has an audio collection. Those are good ones to start with because it gives you a variety of different characters and stories to listen to. Or if you have a certain character or faction you want to learn about, you then find books based off that faction and characters. Like for me, I like the Dark Angel, so I started reading a lot more Dark Angel books. Hey, no judge. If you have the money, go for it. I've said this before. I got one friend who he came from money, and he's grown his parents' business very successfully. I am jealous of him, but the jealousy needs to be put aside to my friend stuff. But to put that to the side, he's started to run his own Magic the Gathering business in like the city not far from me and all that. And he spent quite a bit of money. He started it just as an online thing on the side, and then it's just grown to where he's starting to open a store. The name of the channel, if people are interested in it, is called Game Vitamins. I don't think me shouting him out is going to magically grow his channel any bigger, but I just figure I'd throw that out there for people to be like, okay, so this is the people that I'm talking about. He's a good channel and he makes good content. See, also good like business advice too, but yeah, I want the money as a freedom to do what I want, but the stress is a one thing. Like, but hey, you're starting your own business, and you have to start somewhere. That is a good thing. I'm just gonna go back and read chat. Let's see. I've learned from a fresh perspective. Pick a faction, find and read the order. Okay, yeah, that's a good way of doing it. And not gonna lie, sometimes I'm jealous of the money, but I'm not jealous of the stress. And then Hannibal said, I design and build furniture, just starting, not a large amount of my flow. Yeah. Reading what Dorzo said. Trade work, especially here, is becoming more of a harder thing to find. At least people can make a good, can make money with it here. In the long term. Favorite factions. What is everyone's favorite faction? Because I'm kind of curious. For me, it has grown. It's kind of the 4 armies I have. Technically 5 because I will count my Age of Sigmar one. For me, if I had to rank each of them, I'm going to say it starts with Space Marines first because they're the... Oh, no. Oh, God, I'm actually having a hard time. Because I want to put Custodians ahead of Space Marines, but Space Marines were the first army I got. I want to put Guard in second place. Yeah, Guard is in second place. Tyranids... Oh, God, first place is literally being fought for by Custodes or Space Marines. Maybe Tyranids. Tyranids might be in fourth. But it's more because I like the models that they have. My Aegis Sigmar one, which is the Lizardmen, they sit at number 5. No. Tyranids are at number 5. Lizardmen are at number 4. Because I'm a dino kid and I love the dinosaurs the most. That's my ranking. 2 and 1 are being fought for. No, 2 is Asher Militarum. 1 is being fought for by Custodes or Space Marines. I can't freaking decide which one. Don't ask me to pick where I put them. Third spot is held by either one of those. I don't know which one. So there are dwarves in 40k. There are not Skaven. The dwarves are the Votan in 40k, or the Votan. If he wanted a Skaven allegory, it could be considered the Tyranids, or it could be considered the Imperium itself. Could be considered Skaven. Just because there's so many humans that they kind of take that Skaven spot. The Tyranids, I'd say, just because they eat everything and they're never ending, just like the Skaven. But here's the thing, you don't have to get into 40k as well. If you like Age of Sigmar more than 40k, that's what you like, and that is power to you. I am not going to shame. Both are good. Both have good characters. Although in my mind, I put Age of Sigmar and Old World together. That's how I look at that. I know Old World is its own separate thing now. But Sigmar and Old World have some of the same factions still in them. So, like, why wouldn't they be the same? I understand there's a difference. I'm not saying there's not a difference. I'm just, because I don't know anything about it, I put them in the same category. That's all I'm saying. That is all I'm saying here. I want to move over to doing the blue now so bad, but I'm going to hold off because I still have so much more brown to do. Okay, chat. I actually do need to step away for a second. Keep yourselves entertained for 5 minutes at most. Because I have to go flop out my laundry and do all that. I have to go be an adult for like 5 minutes. You can look at the bottle. I won't do the be right back screen. forgot to do something. I didn't notice it until I left. I forgot to put on my little guy. So now, we got the little guy back. What army am I looking to fill up currently? I can tell you the most recent one that I just got models for, and that's my Tyranids. That is what I would say the most recent one I filled up on, because I got the new Kill Team box that came out today, which at some point I will build. I probably won't do that on stream unless people want to see that built on stream. Other than that... Oh, shoot. Hold on. I don't know what other armies I want to fill up. Like, depends on the model. It depends on what models I get. Because I want the Storm Hawk model. I think it's a big plane that the Space Marines can use, and it's supposed to transport models. It's over $1,000. I want that one just because it looks cool. I wouldn't mind building a Knight army. I'm tempted to. I looked at the other one besides the Canis Rex model, and I'm like, okay, so there are other things that get added onto it. Other than that, I don't really have any other armies that I want to fill out and build. If that makes sense. I'm kind of at the point that I am full. I'm happy with what I have. I don't need any more. I have enough models to build and paint for 3 years if I keep doing 2 streams a week. That is where I stand and sit with that. Other than that, I would say I'm tempted to get into Trench Crusade. I'm tempted. The models look good. I don't know what faction I would really go with. Depends on how they look. I kind of like the big armor dudes, to be fully honest. I know that doesn't boil it down. I wouldn't go with the church guys. The church guys are not ones I would go with in Trench Crusade. I think it's like New Arlen or something like that. Something like that. Not fully sure. I don't know. What about you guys? You guys got any models you're looking to like fill up into your army? Let's see. This contrast is actually working out very nicely. I think I might have done it too thick on this side. This is also the side that doesn't get hit by the sun, because the light is supposed to hit it like from this direction. So that is fine with being darker. Let's go too much paint put onto there. I do see little spots I got to touch up here and there when it comes to doing that model. Just det. Just do det and det and det. trying not to hit the rest of the model with other paint. I don't know if you European people get this show or not, but I've been seeing a lot of clips from Parks and Rec on YouTube, and it makes me want to watch the show. I love the character Ron Swanson. I want to watch it just for him. I'm not sure how to describe his character besides, I don't know, I kind of want to call him like the most American I can think of. A very manly man. Nothing more makes him happy than scotch and meat. Okay. I didn't know if other people across the pond saw the show or not. I mean, I'm sure you guys do because, I don't know, it makes you probably get an image of what America is kind of like over here. I was watching one clip and it involved nothing but the company Sweetums. Oh, Andy's such a great guy. Yeah, Ron carries the show from what I've seen. I haven't seen the show, but it's all the clips I see are nothing but him. I will say for the corporation, I hate Sweetum in the show. It was a compilation of them, and I'm like, this company is so... I want to use the word stupid and bad, but not in calling them stupid and bad. It's more like it's doing its job of making me angry at a corporation is how I look at it. And I'm like, they're doing their job here. I dislike this company. And then I realized the reason why I'm disliking it is because it's so similar to companies in the real world. But yeah, I will say I didn't know Andy from Parks and Rec. I knew him from like Jurassic World. So I knew him as like the Jurassic World character, not the Parks and Rec character. Let me look it up. It is called the Legion Thunderhawk Gunship. It is $915. It's a Forge World model. Currently on GW's website, they have it painted in the Blood Angels theme. But I learned about it through Space Marine 2, which is why I wanted to get it. Leakey Dalton Umbridge. Created to be hate. Oh. Is that the teacher from one of the Harry Potter movies? I didn't see all the Harry Potters. I just recognized the last name Umbridge. And yeah, she is meant to be hated. I don't know. I haven't read the books. I wasn't a Harry Potter kid. I didn't like reading as a kid, so I stayed away from it. Now that I'm an adult, I like to read a lot more. I don't know, it was... I was going to say, I'd be impressed if you have that model Dorzo, but honestly, I shouldn't be impressed because there are more people than just myself out there in the world that are into Warhammer. And people have money also, and they can buy whatever they want with said money. So, if you have the Thunderhawk, that is very... I'm very jealous. Also, someone was talking about P.O. boxes earlier. I was going back. Okay, I was going back towards on your message because I'm like, someone talked about P.O. Box. I thought you were saying you'd open a P.O. Box and you'll paint some stuff. No, you said you'll print some stuff. So you were offering to print stuff for me. Oh. That's tempting. I do have a P.O. Box. I'm not sure where I would post that information for people to message and stuff. Yes, I do know that it was you. I was just going back and like double reading because I'm like, that for some reason was still in my head. Yeah, I'm not sure. I do have the P.O. Box, or I do have a P.O. Box because I was selling my extra model bits. Oh, you have the model? Oh, jeez. I'm very jealous that you have said model. That I hope you get to use it in your games. I was tempted because at my game store there's a ship that's a Space Wolf ship that hasn't sold yet in a while, and I'm pretty sure it's the same box because it's ripped in the same part on the plastic. And it's a ship that's going to go into like Legacy at some time soon. So I wanted to buy that ship and combine it with another model that's a plane on there, and try to kit bash and make the Stormhawk in a way. And I thought that'd be a fun video to do, but I haven't bought the model, and I don't know if I ever will buy the model. Because that's the thing too, like, okay, I have said model. I'm not going to use it in the game. It's just going to sit on my shelf. That's the other thing. I don't have as much stuff sitting around in my room right now as I did. I'm like, wow, it's kind of empty. I don't like my space being empty. I like it full of my stuff. I want my personality showing on the walls. And I'm going to throw this also out there. I'm also tempted to do like a donation thing on here to be like whatever money people donate during stream goes into making the channel and stream better. But at the same time, I'm not here for money. I'm here to hang out and talk with people about Warhammer and life and chill and chat. Like, you guys make your money. You need it more than I need money. That's how I look at it. I don't know why I bring it up. It's just been in my head for a bit. Like, I will admit, would I want to make YouTube a job? Yeah. But at the same time, I would do it. I do it for the freedom to do other things I want to do. Use it as a tool. I want to use YouTube as a tool. Because I talked to the buddy about using his garage today so I could do video stuff with it. And have, you know, other content that I can do. Because the cosplay, or the Inquisitor cosplay I'm going to do, I'm going to be filming that in my friend's garage. Because most of the work I have to make is leatherwork and metalwork stuff. Maybe some clothes stuff, but I don't have a sewing machine. I don't think he does either there. Other big projects will definitely be there. Hold on. Could you look up the Crimson Lord pack on My Minis Factory? Just picked that up yesterday to embellish my Blood Angels. Yeah, I will look that up right now. Let's see. My Mini Factory. And then we are going to look for the Crimson Lord. Oh, jeez. Just so I'm looking at the correct model, because I'm not going to download the picture and stuff. It's got smoke and stuff coming off the base. The way it's painted is mostly red on it. With a like blue striped sword, blonde, silverish hair, and like a cape billowing in. Is that the Crimson Lord you were talking about, or you say Crimson Lord pack? I'm looking at the model. I need to type in pack. Crimson Lord pack. Okay, that's what you meant. Sorry, the model there looked good though too. Ooh, yeah, those are some good STLs for a Blood Angel army. I like that. I like that. Okay, okay. Oh, I like the head that's got fangs coming off it and all that. That's cool. Ooh, got some spears on there. Got some dick tabards. I like the different swords. There's not enough different power sword and chain sword models that GW makes. These power hammers are cool. The packs are cool. Oh, they got those. They got bolters, and I think I don't know what the other gun is. But they got some on the wrist, some bits, power fist. Ooh, I like those helmets. I think those are Terminator helmets. That's a cool looking Terminator. Oh, the spear. Okay, that's a cool pack. That's a cool pack. I gotta go to some of these 3D print websites and keep, or at least order some stuff for myself. I mean, possibly. Who knows? Who knows if I'd order stuff for myself or not? Let's get back to the model. So I'm falling a little bit behind on some parts of him. Here we go, here we go. I'll pull some paint away from that. And I'm kind of curious, what got most people in the Warhammer? Like, what got all you guys in chat into Warhammer? What made you decide to get into it? I think I've said this before, what got me into it quite a few times. Field trip over. Yeah, me looking at other websites is over right now. Because I do want to get this guy painted up. I'd like to at least do some of the blue on him today. At least the contrast blue. I have other blues that I want to put on him and other browns as well, but we'll see about that. I've not heard Sanguinius' speech at all, but I will look that up after. Some videos on YouTube. Yeah, that's what started me, Hannibal, is YouTube videos. What I'm hoping is I didn't just make you go down this rabbit hole of Warhammer, because initially you talked about D&D in this, and then I think you popped into this stream, and then now you're here at the next stream, you're talking more about the lore and aesthetics is what got me. I really like learning about random lore stuff in general, like with history and in fantasy worlds. For a while back in high school, I watched videos. I think they're like hour-long videos about Skyrim and the Silmarillion of, like Lord of the Rings. I think the big book is like the Silmarillion or something like that. But then like discovering Warhammer and like all the little stories and stuff. I'm going to look up that name real quick. I might know who you're talking about. I'm terrible with names. No, this I've not seen this channel before. I've seen another channel though that has given a few voiceovers and stuff. I'm trying to remember his name. I've seen him on Instagram a few times. I know he's a YouTube channel. He's also read a couple books for Warhammer. I like his Gazgul impression of the guy I'm thinking of. But I don't know any more than that. He did a good Angron one as well. I really wish I knew the name now, because now I'm... But yeah, going back, I love the lore, and I'm a medieval fan as well. So the grimdark aesthetic, the gothic aesthetic that Warhammer has is also a very big sell for me. That is what kind of grew my love for it. I think, like I said before in the past, I listened to Warhammer short stories not realizing it was Warhammer. Or, like, I learned about it a while ago, but then I didn't dig any more into it. And then once I started listening to a lore channel called Izander and Coda, that's when it really started to get bad. But I've said this before to you guys. I won't repeat myself. There's no need to open that bag of potatoes. Thinking definitely by tomorrow I'll actually have the video done. I've been slowly working on my YouTube stuff. It's the unbeatable urge to die for my God Emperor is why I'm invested now. Yeah. Oh God, I saw... I was scrolling through Instagram today, and it was a woman asking, you know, what do men want? And it cut to a Space Marine running and like a couple other scenes of like just Space Marines beating the hell out of Xenos or heretics and stuff. And I can't remember the song. No, I think the song was Black Betty, and it was going with Black Betty, like oh Black Betty, Black Betty had a child. That's all I'm gonna sing because that's all I know. I did save that. That is saved somewhere on my Instagram story. And it was... I'm like, yeah, that's... Honestly, I just want the ability to feel powerful for like a little bit. I want the ability to not worry about my everyday life and my normal troubles and stuff and just have a little bit of a power fantasy. I want to be able to feel like I could swing a 5-ton hammer and smash a bug and then run through a moving vehicle and blow it to bits. That's all I want to feel like. At least that's... Space Marine 2 does that for me. And then when I'm sitting here painting, I get like the calmness of just like adding color, calming the little gremlin in my head that's being... Yeah, that's a very classic male fantasy, Hannibal. The like male power fantasy. And I mean, I get it, like, at least for myself, how I've always wanted to be is like, I looked up to superheroes as a kid as well, and I wanted to be like this cool, powerful person that felt strong and reliable and stuff. And as I've gone older, it's felt harder to feel like that. So now I have a way of feeling and releasing that. I will say, with the way I play Warhammer on the tabletop, that is not the case. I I am the little heretic that gets squashed. And sometimes it's difficult, but I'm realizing what I actually enjoy in the hobby, and I enjoy building and painting and learning about lore, and I'll play the game every once in a while. But I do need to play with my friends soon, because I made them get models and stuff, and now some are into the hobby, and I'm having them buy more models, and we're not playing at all, and it's like, oh, okay, we need to actually start doing stuff with Warhammer. I'm liking how that turns out. I'm almost tempted to leave the body white and just do white and brown, but no, we will not do that. I'm also trying not to destroy the base as well. This, I would say, was the first attempt I ever did of doing a large diorama base. This was the first model I ever actually did that with. Because I want to do more than just the basic, like, oh, he's standing on this piece and, like, there's just sand around. Like, I wanted to actually have a little bit of something. That's one way of doing it. Dorzo said, I beat up my friends in fighting games and feel more powerful. I suck at fighting games, so I'm not able to do that. I have a friend that no matter what fighting game you put him in, give him a couple hours and he'll be completely, like, amazing at it. Thank you, Hannibal. I am proud of it. I mean, I did small bases before, but it's hard to tell. There is, like, PVA glue I put here and a couple other spots, and I wanted to make those look like acid coming out of the ground. Because Tyranids put up acid pits that dissolve any biomass on the planet that they are devouring. So they eat everything on the planet. They even eat the atmosphere. And that is what makes them terrifying, is they leave behind these dead worlds, pretty much. Although that's, from what I've heard, that's kind of iffy if they leave behind a dead world or not. Like, they might only eat the surface biomass. They may not eat, like, a lot deeper, because I think there's a conversation between a character named Barisalis Call. I just butchered his name. I'm just going to call him Call. Yeah, like humans in a way. Yes, we could be treating our planet better. Oh, geez, you used to go to tournaments. Okay, so because he asked you, honestly, you know what, fair. That's probably the best way to teach someone a fighting game. If you can go at them like full bore from the beginning, and then all they can do is just get better from there, that's, I think, fair, because, you know, when they go up against other people that are the same level or less than them, they'll be good at the game. I do have an event that I'm going to tomorrow. So, I don't know if anyone here is into anime and stuff. I'm going to an anime convention tomorrow called PortCon. It's in the state that I'm in. I'm going to just go to it tomorrow to get out of the house and check some stuff out. I might go early when it opens, or I might go a bit later, because I want to go with some friends and stuff. But it all depends. One guy said he might be able to do it. Another friend I met up with today, he says, depending if he's not busy, he might go. And one where he's like, depending on how he feels after work, he might go. So, no, I didn't think that it was malicious at all with how you were teaching people. I was saying that, like, you know, it might feel bad for the person in the beginning, but in the long run, like, that might be a good way. I hope it's a good, like, going to be a good time. I Haven't gone. So I'm 27. I went when I was like 21, maybe 20. I think I was 20, maybe 19. So it's been a few years since I've gone to that one, and it's grown quite a bit. But I want to go to other conventions as well, more than just anime and stuff. I'm gonna say I think I know I'm invited, but I am gonna go to a Magic event next year. I think the name is Magicon, but I could be wrong. This year it was held in Chicago, and some friends went. I got invited from my friends to go next year to it, and I want to go and check it out and have a fun time there. I like traveling. I love traveling with friends, is what it boils down to. As I get older, the more chance I have to travel, I'm taking them. Because I have fun being out and about in the world. That's a good thing to do. I've had to... Doing something like big on your days off is good. To get out of the house, to just go do something. I'm not sure how I feel about the brown being on the hooves. I might change that. We might change that a little bit. Oh, yes, you reminded me. So, what I'm also doing tomorrow is I'm going to a flea market tomorrow where I live. Flea market. I'm actually probably going to record some stuff about it because I want to do a video using the flea market in a way. Meaning like, hey, if you're interested in trying to build like terrain for your Warhammer games, you can find some cheap terrain in the most unlikely of places. And I've said this before, or I've showed it here before, but I got a car part that I'm going to turn into a generator for one of my for my tabletop game, but I've had to put that in storage with a couple other things and stuff like that. I think when I build the Kill Team board, I'm going to do it in the garage, so I have some space and stuff for it, but I don't know. It's also kind of tough to pack everything and bring it to places. I don't know if I should do these claws as brown or if I should leave them as blue. I might leave them blue. Another event that I talked with some friends about going to, or at least a friend, and I got to talk to more about it. I am going to a Ren Fair. This will be the third time I go to this Ren Fair. For those of that, no, I don't. I'll just share. I'm going to like the main Ren Fair. It's in like Acton, Maine. I've gone twice now, and I'm going again this year. And I keep bringing more and more friends each year. Although I think last year I only brought one, but the year before I went with like 4. And then this year I'm going to try getting a big group together. We also checked out King Richard's Fair. That's another Ren Fair down in Massachusetts. I didn't like that one as much as I liked the one I'm going to in July in Acton. And it's more... The reason why I didn't like the King Richard's one is because every stall had the same stuff. Okay, I'll start with the color. So I'm using a paint called a contrast paint. It's a more watery paint. It's meant to pool in crevices and all that and be lighter in some light spots. This one's called Gorgrand Fur, or just Gorfur. I'm just going to say Gorfur. A Ren Fair is a Renaissance fair. I don't know if you know what a Renaissance fair is, Hannibal. If you do, let me know, but I'll just explain for those that don't know. They're a fair that people can pretend to be like medieval peasants or fantasy type people at these places. They do, yeah, like how Dorso says, ye olde times, jousting kings and stuff. So yeah, a Renaissance fair is abbreviated to a Ren fair. I've heard there's some really good medieval Ren fairs in Europe, and would be something I'd be interested in checking out at some point. But here in, I think it was in the U.S. Although, please don't quote me on this. That Ren fairs kind of got bigger. If you get the chance to check out a Ren fair, go and do it. You don't even have to go dressed up. You can just go in civilian clothes and have a good time. I went in a very basic outfit, and I left a Ren fair dressed better than when I entered. Although I did spend a bit of money, and that was a problem. If anyone here in chat wants to spend $700 on a leather jacket, it's a long leather jacket for like a Lord of the Rings outfit, I'll sell it to you for $700. I don't need it anymore. I'm not gonna wear it. I gotta put that on eBay for like the price I'm asking for. I mean, a medieval fair or Viking fair is like the same as a Renaissance fair. It's supposed to be based off Renaissance time, but they're not really. Here in the US, they're just kind of a weird mishmash of like Dark Age, medieval to Renaissance times. Really, it's more of like a fantasy thing now. Because people here will dress up as like elves or dragons or like D&D characters they play as. At least here, that's what people like go and dress up as. I went last year more as a commoner or hobbit style character. And the year before, I looked more like a warrior of sorts. Yeah, it's definitely more like the fantasy stuff. Ooh, yeah, that's always tough. You gotta be careful when you buy stuff at off other vendors, or at least for me, I'm gonna use Renfair as an example now, because they will upcharge everything that they can for stuff. I am more cautious. I definitely I bought some rings that I actually felt fair for the price for. I bought a metal and / gold one that I used to wear on either my ring or middle finger. And then I wore one that had Thor's hammer on one of the fingers. So I used to wear rings, but I lost them for a bit and I stopped wearing them. Hey, you know what? You know for the future. You know for the future, Hannibal. And that's okay. Do you still wear them? Do you like the rings? Or after learning what they're actually worth, do you stop wearing them now? If you still wear them and stuff, you know, as long as you get your use out of them, that's all that matters. Ooh, I want to go to Japan. Do you recommend Japan at all, Dorzo? Because I want to go with a friend. He wants to go to Japan. He is into One Piece and stuff. Yeah, Japan, I'm sure, is very pricey on a lot of stuff. But I would definitely go to check out the history and some of the other buildings and stuff. With that being said, I am going to use the bathroom. I will be right back. Come on, Rory.
Where are you gonna stay with Chase?
Rory, come here. Okay, watch out. Good boy. I am back. Let me switch back and I will catch up with chat real quick. What is being said? Pricey. I still like them. I don't feel bad for paying. Well, that's good. My Japan trip was pretty cheap. Way cheaper than America. Yep. Breakfast was 60 yen, $4. 2 sandwiches, a drink, and a snack. Didn't mean to happen. We avoided the risk at all. That's not bad. No, that's not a bad price. I think 408,000. That's not bad. I mean, it is a very long flight depending on where you go, because you have to do a connecting flight from, well, we'll say from like, you said you're in Ohio, so you probably have to go from Ohio to California to Japan. For me, I don't know which would be quicker, because I'm on East Coast. I'd probably have to fly across the U.S. to get to... I'd have to fly to California to then get to Japan. I could probably find a direct flight from Boston to California, but I also refuse to go to California at any point in my life. I will correct. It's more LA. I don't want to be in LA. Or I don't want to go to LA. California's got some beautiful scenery, some beautiful national parks. But I don't fully agree with all the people. Oh. I do gotta take that back. There are some good people there. It's just some of the stuff that happens in California I don't really agree with. But my opinions have changed over the years as I've gotten older. I'm not as strongly conservative as I once was. Oh, okay. To Michigan and then Tokyo. I guess, I mean, you're still technically on the East Coast, but damn. Makes sense that it would take you longer getting to there than back because of the way the wind kind of blows, like the jet stream and stuff. The plane has to fight against the jet stream, which takes it longer to get across than it riding. But I don't know if I could do a 13-hour flight. To me, I'd have to, like, a 7-day trip would turn into a 9-day trip because I would plan a day of being in a plane on... I plan for 2 days of flying in a plane. Is how I look at it. That is how I look at that. I do apologize for taking all these breaks and stuff like that. The human body is extremely weak. I sadly cannot be a mechanical like the Mechanicus. Although I don't think I'd ever want to be fully mechanic like how they do it. I wouldn't want to be like a Necron either, though. Well, that's fair enough. I mean, you don't have to like animate to go to Japan. It's got a lot of history. I want to go check out the temples and the castles and all that stuff. Like, I was into anime as a kid in high school, but I liked more the ninja stuff when it came to Japan. Like, that was my interest with Japan. I gotta wait 20 years? That's a little bit too close for my liking. The Mechanicus are supposed to be in 40,000 years from now. Not 20 years. That's way too close. That is too close for comfort. Although, weirdly enough, this is... I don't know why I've thought this. I'm, like, tempted to cut off one arm and like get one of those cool robotic arms people get, or do the same to my leg. I don't want to. Well, I want to, but I don't want to at the same time. Fair enough when you work with older people and they don't know, or they just ask, like, why would you go? Well, be careful, you will become that older person. I do want to hit that as brown, but I might leave that. That might stay blue. And then we're going to do his tail. In this brown. But I do want to say, I enjoy everyone that has been here the whole time and chatting with me. It does make the stream go by quicker. Although weirdly I've noticed we had a lot more people earlier, and then now it just kind of dropped down to like Hannibal and Dorzo. And I noticed that drop after I put up the PNG. Does the PNG work? Do people even like the little PNG guy? When you say well, okay. In my mind, when you say Terminator arm, I'm thinking like the 40K Terminator, but you're probably meaning like Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator. And I'm glad you like the little guy. I like the little guy. I want to put something up on screen that like let people like, you know, this is a little mascot for the guy. This is what I want to be. Yeah, probably just because I went away and all that. But here's the same thing. I shouldn't look at the count when it comes to viewers and stuff, because looking at the count is just going to make me sad. Although, I don't know where I'm going with it. Like, I'm not sad. I'm actually happy. Like, I'm chatting with you guys. And that's all that matters. I like sitting here and I like talking to you, chat. It makes this fun. It's why I keep doing this. I do want to make more little guys at some point. Maybe if I got a second phone, I'd do like an actual proper VTuber model. But I kind of like the PNG guy as well, more than if he was a proper VTuber. Initially, when I was making the little guy that you see on screen, I was going to make a hooded Mechanicus guy, but I couldn't get the shape right. So then I remembered a D&D character I used to play as. I don't know if I've said the story yet before or not. And he was a little salamander guy. It wasn't a kobold. This was like a homebrew race. He's just a little salamander. And I based it off an image of a fat Trico. Like, not chubby fat, but he was like round shaped. I don't know if I have the image or not. I'm not going to worry about finding it right now. And I'm like, you know what? Why don't I find this image and do that again? And then I just drew a shape, trying to base it off that image, and we are with the little guy that we got. He is used one of my 3 favorite colors, and I love salamanders. So I made my guy a little salamander guy. And I am happy to have him here. Well, I appreciate you spending your time here at work to watch me sit and paint. Because I do like sitting here and chatting with you, Dorzo. It's been fun. I've learned quite a bit. It's been fun chatting with you as well, Hannibal, and anyone else in chat that appears. It's fun to share my knowledge and like all the Warhammer knowledge I have just sits up in my head. So being able to have a spot to share my knowledge and share my painting skills and get better makes me happy at the end of the day. Because when I look back a year ago from where I was with my painting to where I am now, it's kind of hard to believe that I've come this far in a short amount of time. I think that tail is relatively good. I like that brown. That brown is starting to pop out really nice. Oh, damn. So you only got 3 more hours of your shift. So if I go for another 3 hours... Yeah, it does kind of look like driftwood. And you know, I'm okay with that. I do have some other colors I want to use on it. I want to use this burgundy brown and this oak brown on it at some point. I know it's such a different color to it, but I want to use these browns on the more darker spots or where like the horn and claw is. Oh yeah, Dorzo's working a 16-hour shift at a plant, if I understand correctly. We are Dorzo's entertainment until his shift ends. I am everyone's entertainment until, I don't know, they decide to do something else. You know what I might also do tomorrow? I'm spitballing ideas. I want to go to the anime convention, but now that I have the space to go do some of that... Okay, you got 14... No, not 14. You got 4 16-hour shifts. You're definitely getting your 40 hours in. I'm hoping you're getting overtime. I hope you're getting the overtime. Where was it going? Oh, I want to go and go to the garage and work on like some blacksmithing stuff and set up over there. But I'm also like, I think I can put out a video tomorrow. Sorry, my brain just froze when I... Okay, I read Dorzo's message, and 56 hours on average. I'm impressed. You know what? If I could, I would send you $100 right now, Dorzo. I feel like you need that $100 to go and treat yourself. Go and treat yourself and do something on your next day off. Go do something fun for yourself, please. I know you said that you tried to do that anyways. But at least try to do something. I know on days off, we like to take time to recoup ourselves and catch up on chores and stuff. Well, I'm glad money's no problem. I mean, it's probably not a problem for you anyways. I mean, you're into the Warhammer hobby, so I think a good portion of your paycheck's going to that from just knowing the hobby. God, I feel bad now. Like in a weird way, on just how I. Okay. I know this might sound like complaining, but let me just talk through the reason why I feel bad all of a sudden now. I'm really appreciative of people sitting here and watching me. But I'm also like, you could be spending your 13-hour shift watching better people paint and all that. It's the imposter syndrome kicking in. I should change topic. We're going to change topic. I don't know what I want to do. I really can't spend money either. I got to pay rent on Monday. I got to spend $800 on... I don't watch live stuff. Well, I'm glad, Hannibal, that you enjoy my content and all that. I will be honest. Initially, when I first started streaming here, I had friends on as a crutch because I wasn't confident in myself as a creator to talk to people and all that. But getting out of my own head and doing solo stuff has improved my speech, I would say. Like my speech has been slowly improving anyways of just what I do for work. Or at least when I worked in retail, it was improving. But my confidence, I guess I should say, has grown from doing this. And I'm happy with that because I don't think I'm a very confident person. But being able to sit here and ramble and chat and just kind of say whatever kind of goes off and all that. Play that Synchrony speech. I will listen to it after stream. I will listen to that speech. And it will probably completely clear my anxiety. Oh. There is one Horus Heresy book I do want to listen to, but it's for one specific speech. It involves Konrad Curze and Vulcan. I want to hear Vulcan fucking beat Konrad Curze into the ground. I want to hear that description. I want to hear the words, it's not just a teleporter, it's also a hammer. I don't know what book that is. I should listen to some other books before I jump into that one, because that one's like in the middle of the Horus Heresy. But that's such a strong line to me. I haven't read the book, but from what I know, Konrad Curze put Vulcan through some stuff. And Vulcan got his revenge. What's wrong, Rory? I do have the dog with me now. The dog is in the room, and he's starting to whine. I will open the door for you, buddy. The door is open if you want to go out. Because now it's just me. Ugh. I don't know what other books and stuff have good speeches that I should listen to. Oop. There's so much lore people don't know. See, for me, I spend a lot of time on YouTube Shorts, which is why I haven't produced any video content on. I get home, I play Minecraft, and I listen to YouTube Shorts. It's like the first thing I do, I wake up in the morning to. And I learned about, because there's one YouTuber who I think it's a group of them. They put out a couple shorts of like their favorite stories and stuff from Warhammer, and one of them was Vulcan dealing with Konrad Curze. I want Vulcan to come back, but he's got someone that's got serious trauma. Just dealing with Konrad Curze. Like that. The man has a skin room. Actually, correction, not a skin room. A face skin room made of multiple people that he walks on. Sometimes in armor, sometimes not. That is Konrad Curze. I don't want to deal with Konrad Curze. So for any of his brothers that had to interact with such a man, Vulcan better be on a beach just enjoying life right now. Oh my god, that is one Primarch that should not get eaten by the Tyranids. Oh, that is a question I do have. Could the Tyranids fully destroy Vulcan, or would his regenerative ability be able to beat their ability to eat him? Like, could they just keep regenning Vulcan and then devouring a part of him and then keep, like regenning him? It's fine. No red flags here, sir. Oh, God. I'm sure there's a few red flags popped up here and there. I'm sure I've said something that's not kosher for the Messiah here. But yeah, that's kind of terrifying. Tyranids, I wonder if the Tyranids could farm Vulcan for biomass. Plus, if they ate Vulcan, they would get his ability to... a travel snack. Yes, Vulcan is a perpetual. I don't know fully what type. How I heard that he was described as if, like, any little part of him survived, he just regenerated from that. Because, like, he fell from the sky after dealing with Konrad Curze. He teleported, didn't plan out anything, fell from the sky, and was burned to a crisp, and then slowly started to regenerate. I think it wasn't his Primarch stuff, but again, don't quote me. Go and double check the sources. But yeah, I guess he would be a travel snack for the Tyranids. That is terrifying. I think any Tyranid eating a Primarch is a bad thing. It's a very bad thing. I know I said something and you're asking a question. Oh, how does he regenerate? It's a Horus Heresy thing. I don't know much about it, but to summarize it, Hannibal, there are special people in Warhammer that are called perpetuals. They're immortals. They're people that can live forever, but in different ways. So the Emperor is a perpetual, and he is internally youthful and can regenerate, which is why he's on the Golden Throne. He's slowly regenerating, but the throne's also killing him very slowly, so it's why he's able to last so long. There's another character called Malkador. He's another immortal or perpetual, but he got the rough end where it's not youthful and regenerative. He looks like an old man. He's got the I live forever, but I'm aging at the same time type of immortality. Vulcan has the Emperor's style of like regenerating. I think it's like from his... I think it's like Wolverine. If there's any sort of cell that survives, it's going to regenerate. So like Wolverine from X-Men, DC, not DC, Marvel Comics. Yes, that Emperor. Welcome back, Jack. You jumped into the conversation of us talking about the Emperor and all that stuff. I don't know what sort of magic you want me to try using so you don't pass out. What is... wait, hold on. Is 07 someone saluting? I've seen 07 before, I just never realized. Is 07 like someone holding their hand up and doing a salute? That's actually really ingenious. I never noticed that till now. I thought it was some weird calling people were doing on here. Okay. Because I'm not looking at... Yeah, I mean, I've been talking, but I've also been trying to... what color scheme I'm doing. I'm doing a brown carapace on top, and I'm going to be doing, this dark blue. Oh, I got you. Okay, that's good. That's good to know. Yeah, Boxer. I'm doing a brown and blue, so I'm using contrast paints to get all the white covered first. I've gone in every single bit of what I considered the carapace stopped. Yes, this is a custom one. I wasn't sure what I was going to do for the paint scheme. I was tempted to do Typhon's color scheme. One, because the Kill Team box came out recently. And I like the idea of playing a Tyranid that will attack anything, even its own kind. So I'm going to do some inspiration with that. For those that are... No, I was going to pull up Typhon's color scheme, but I won't worry about that right now. I'm debating whether if I was going to do the Storm Fiend blue or the this one. I think I'm going to go with the darker blue and throw that on there. If I was sitting here by myself and painting, not talking to anybody, I probably would have more done. But I'm also a very, like... I'm trying to be very precise with my painting, too, so I see little bits of white here and there, and I'm trying to get all that done. Hannibal's right. I am also getting inspiration from, like, a tree as well, but I also want it to look kind of lizard-like. I'm sure I can take a small brush and hit all the spots here and there. Yeah, I'm much more a fan of the darker color. I don't have a paper towel, and I wish I did. I'm using my sweatshirt sleeve to clean off the paint. So, but also other blues than that, I'm going to be using these blues when I get to it, and I'm going to be using these two browns, burgundy brown and oak brown, on top of this. So, give our paint a good shake, and go from there. Yeah, if I play these Tyranids, I'm just going to call them High Fleet Typhon. But I think there is actual High Fleet that has this blue and brown color. But I don't know their name. Oh, let's not lose... Oh, this is brand new. We're not going to open up the brand new one. We're going to open up the older one. Yeah, that needs to be a good shake. Good shake. I do have another brush, a regular base coating brush that I will use later. These ones are made for monsters or vehicles. This big one that I'm using. We're going to take that. And I'm going to do the tail first, because that's a good test spot for me to see how the colors will look. Okay, I like this already. Yes. Yes. This is all... I'm already happy with how this color's looking. I know it might be hard to see on camera, but this color, with the way it looks right now, I'm very happy with how this is looking. See, normally I would have done a bunch of little models and test painted a scheme, not a big one. This is the first Tyranid model that I'm actually like painting. The other one was for the art competition piece that I've done a while ago. I am very much a fan of that. Here's the hard part when you do a big section like this, is that you can see the brush strokes. I'm trying to make it all like one color, roughly. I don't want to pool up too bad on these spots. Yeah. Yeah. I can see this becoming really nice. We're definitely going to do another coat of this blue on the tail at some point. Just because it's so much of a weird stroke effect. That's what I should do. I should just like drag it all in one. I can try to make it look like scales. I mean, this isn't the only coat of paint I'm going to put on this model. I'm going to do a few other layers. This is like the first layer of paint. Most people put on more than one layer of paint on the model. It's the hard part when it starts to dry. Yeah, I mean, this white is a primer on it. I was thinking of making a diorama seems fun. It is a fun thing to do, making a diorama. I learned a lot while painting it, like while making a diorama. Because if you're going to make a diorama, plan it out beforehand. Like, take a piece of paper, draw kind of what you want your diorama to complete and look like in the end. So you're not faffing about too much buying models, painting, or building models to do this with. I had to work on my brush control when doing a diorama. I had to learn how to edge highlight while doing the diorama for the first time. And try to get the model looking the way I wanted to. It was a big way of, like, it was a big learning curve, I would say. And this is when the contrast looks a bit better. When you got these corners that the paint can pool and stuff into it. Because I don't know how easy it is to tell. But in this section, I got like darker spots here and then it lights up there. That's kind of what contrast is supposed to do. So I am happy. With how that's looking. I wasn't sure how well that would turn out. Sweet. I think I will have everything contrast painted tonight. That's how I feel. Good night, Hannibal. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Get some rest. I will if you're here on Tuesday's stream, awesome. If not, no worries. I will say Space Marines are a much easier model to paint just because they have such big, wide areas that you can like cover. Custodes I don't find as hard to paint just because I do only gold. I don't do a lot of other colors. This Tyranid one I'm having a little bit of a problem with just because there's so many detail sections. Yeah, that's not a bad idea to do a desert one. I mean, if you were here for when I was building mine, I kind of based off a desert themed. It all depends what you want to do. Because, like, when I first started, I wanted to do me and, like, my 4 friends' characters for Monster Hunter. And we were going to do... I was going to have us fight a big orc and stuff like that. Well, then I read the rules and stuff like that. But I didn't plan out my model or my diorama well enough. So I spent more time faffing about trying to figure out. I'm glad you think it's pretty sweet. I like to hope that I at least get like 6th place, but I doubt I'll even get that because I saw one person's submission today, and people think it's like a golden demon submission, and I'm like, that's way better than mine. I'm nowhere like near like at that level. So, but we'll see. I'm definitely going to be doing more in the future. Definitely going to be doing more of those. And then, what else? Yeah, it definitely was a little bit of a oh crap moment. But, like, you know what? I'm just happy I got to take part in it and learn and get to do more from it. I mean, the guy hosting it is extremely friendly. He's like, we want you to be in more of them in the future. If you want to... I think he's like, if I want to be part of staff and stuff like that, I could be. I don't know if I'd be part of staff, but... Nice to know that I'm invited to future ones, and I will continue doing it. It'd be cool to get like a demon, golden demon, but I also don't know if I'll ever be good enough for golden demon. And just swipe that up. Damn, I can't go over it a second time. Because then I make it too thin. There we go. You know, I was very skeptical on using the brown and stuff as a contrast paint, but I think the blue actually kind of works well here with it. Oh yeah, there's so many people that I think are just casual painters that are so much better. It so okay, I'm gonna use my Instagram again as an example. Like when I'm scrolling through Instagram, and I see everyone else's posts, and this is like to them like their average stuff they're putting out or normal. It makes me want to paint my stuff at that same level of like my models have to be that good. They have to look that good. And they don't have to look that good cuz I'm painting them for me. I'm not painting them to show them off to people. Although technically yes, I am painting them to show them off to people. I wouldn't be live streaming if I wasn't doing that. But at the end of the day, I mean, these are my models and they're just for me to look at. Like I will be looking at them on the shelf and I'll be playing games with them. They don't have to look parade ready every single time. Damn, that contrast blue is looking so nice. I'm so happy. I know it might not sound like it, but I am actually very happy how that blue is looking on the model. That's the hard part. I wish I didn't put him on the base now because he's becoming harder to paint certain parts on and get correct. Okay. That's a very good way of seeing it. That's a very good way of seeing it. You know, anyone can paint. It doesn't... Things don't have to look picture perfect. And I'm just going to read this out for people in the future. Dorzo says, I have a hippie buddy who I cannot paint but sells at art festivals. So if he can do it, anyone can do it. That's how I see it. And that's a very good way of looking at painting and really making anything. Anybody can, really, you can do whatever you set your mind to. You're the only person standing in your own way. God, that's some advice I gotta listen to for myself. I am my own worst critic and my own enemy. I'm trying to dodge and weave hits that I send at myself, and sometimes I'm not able to successfully dodge those hits. Sometimes the fat Twinkie side of me wins more than the real me gets to. Let's get that a very good dip right there, and we will go from there. I'm kind of liking where we are going here. I remember building this guy and having so much fun building him. I do want to build the Assimilator at some point. I want to buy the Assimilator model and build and paint him as well. I guess, yeah, that's another model I want to add to my army. I do want to add some other big Tyranids to my army. But the problem is I don't like how a lot of the big Tyranids look. Like, I want to get a Carnifex. I think that one looks good. And I like the Norm, Emissary, and Simulator. They look good. I like the Hive Tyrant. He looks good. I'm not a fan of like the big tank guy they have for Tyranids. Even though it makes sense for it to be on like 3 or 4 legs, I'm not a fan of how it stands. I'd rather it be a 4-legged creature and have a tank on its back than have it be a 3-legged creature and holding a gun in front of it. Yes, the Tyrannofax. That is what I'm talking about. And I do know I can make it as a model so it can like spawn other Tyranids out from it, but I don't know. Maybe if I get one, I'll kit bash it and make it look like the way I want it to look. So I'm not too disappointed in it. How is it drying? It is going pretty well actually so far for this. I was going to do in here in brown, but I'm actually going to make all this be blue. That chest part could probably be brown, but I don't know. Gross. Yeah, it is kind of gross, but honestly, it's another way of getting your Tyranid models back out on the field. I don't know the rules for it and all that, but oh yeah, definitely Matthew. That is how I look at Warhammer. I collect what I find cool. I'm not a meta chaser. I'm a painter and hobbyist when it starts. Like, I grabbed the Norma Simulator here because I thought he looked cool. And I wanted to build it and add that to my Tyranid army. I'm more of a... My first army is Space Marines. And I've built and collected a lot of... At least for me, a lot of Space Marines. And I've kind of pivoted my army to what I like more model-wise. And I have that actually works in the meta. But definitely doing that. I think Norma Simulator is going to be probably the next Tyranid model I get. I have a Hive Tyrant I gotta paint. I gotta paint all the Hormagaunts, or build Hormagaunts. I shouldn't build another army. I should paint another one and go with that. Should finish painting the Space Marine army this year and move on to next year doing Tyranids. I'm just doing this guy because I needed something easy or already built that I could paint today. I would make this stream my Kit Bash stream to continue doing the Space Wolves, but I have to keep my space clean for a little bit, so I can't really make a big mess right now. So I'm keeping it very simple tonight. Although I don't know if building a Norm or painting a Norm Emissary is actually simple. I'm just starting with these 2 contrast paints. I did everything in like Gorfur first, which is what the brown is. And I'm just doing the blue contrast paint, and then after that I'm going to hit it with actual other paints after and hit some spots that I want to hit. But I just want to cover this guy in his base colors and go from there. And give me a very slight image on how that's all going to look. Pick an army you would die for. That's another good way of looking at it. Yeah, I guess if you were to join that army, would you would you die being a part of that army? No, I don't want to die as a Tyranid. I don't want to die as a Space Marine. I want to be like Trazyn. I want to be like Trazyn and collect my creatures and put them in stasis spheres and then look at them on the pedestal and shelves. And every once in a while, if I have to use one of my hard collected pieces, I can do so. But I'm not going to be happy about it. No, not actually. I do enjoy the tabletop game when I get a chance to play. I am currently something in 0. I'm completely 0-0. No wins and all the losses. This is a good thing I can kind of see. Just steal shit. I honestly could. I could just steal a bunch of stuff. I used to do that in high school. I had this weird... Not weird. I guess weird. I'm not sure how to word it, but... I got good at just going up to people and taking their backpacks and then just running away. AoE Master Ball. Yeah. I mean, if you walk up casually and people don't, like, notice you in any way, you can... This is how I did it, is... This was, like, during our lunch break and stuff. I would go up to people. I would, like, target a person. Go up, because everyone would have their backpacks off. They'd leave it in the ground in a pile. And then I would go, just pick up the backpack, and then walk away. If they noticed, you ran. If they didn't, you walked for a bit, and then when they finally came looking for you, I would the premise of it is I would always give the bag back. It was never taking it to steal anything from it. It was always for the challenge of, can I take this? Even nowadays, I still do things similar to that, but I do it to friends. I don't do it to random people, because that's how I'll get my ass kicked in real life, and I don't want that. A friend, like... Yeah, I got relatively good. No wonder you play real. I did try to learn lock picking a little bit back in high school, but I didn't really do anything with it. I never successfully picked a lock, is what happened. But recently, a friend, like, this was a few months ago, their lighter slipped out of their pocket. They didn't notice. They left to go to the bathroom. So I picked it up and hid it in my hand. And I asked them for a lighter, like, hey, where's your lighter? And they were looking around. And then they're like, after a little bit, I just held it out in front of them. And I'm like, hey, where's your lighter? And then they finally looked down and realized the guy was drunk to begin with. But he had a good laugh about it. I tried to be the goodest boy. I don't like doing crimes, but I will do it for fun if I can. Yeah, I tried it once with a doorknob. I tried it with a master lock at home, and I watched videos on how to do it. I did, like, bobby pins and stuff, and I think I was able to get one pin, maybe two to actually turn. But from there, I couldn't get any more. I don't know if I had to keep, like, applying pressure or reapplying pressure. It was just... wasn't really sure how to do it. I could probably learn how to do it now, again, but I don't have a use for that skill. I don't want to break into places. There's no point. Oh, on the camera, I just realized. This looks so purple in the camera, but it's not. It's like a much darker blue on my end. Yeah, I heard about just raking it and going and doing it that way with lockpicking. God, I kind of like... It looks like I'm making a brown and purple Tyranid, and I'm not. I'm making a dark blue and brown Tyranid. Okay. I think I'll be able to get the whole body painted up and stuff. And then I know Tuesday will definitely be going back to the Space Wolves, because I think by then I'll be able to do it. If not, we will continue painting this guy. And then from there, I'm not sure what else. It is probably just my phone. Like, from what I see it looks like a more blue-purple. And this, on my end, is more like a dark blue. But I'm going to be happy with it. It's not going to be only blue. I'm going to do some different highlights here and there. And oh, I forgot to do the undercoat of the blade there as brown. Oh, well, I will get that later. And ow. It's fighting back. The Tyranid's fighting back. It just attacked me. It likes to scratch me and stuff. I gotta be careful where I touch this, because I'm pulling up the paint if I hold on to those parts too long. And I don't want to have to like retouch stuff up and go through with that. Okay. I'm trying to think what else is kind of going on. Good stuff. I don't know. I need more biomass. Yes, I definitely need more biomass. I do love this model. Like, this is a good model from GW. Sometimes I'm a little bit iffy on some of the models that Game Workshop makes, because they don't look as good as they could. I think sometimes they practice with Age of Sigmar first, and then they will upgrade a model in 40K to just, you know, see how well it does. But then from there, I don't know. I think GW knows like 40K is their safe bet on always making money. That's why they don't really do much with the models. Because, I mean, they haven't upgraded the Grey Knights. I don't know if anyone here paints Grey Knights or stuff. But they kind of did you guys dirty with the models and stuff. They still look like... Or they are still the same models, I think, from like 2016 or before. They're still the, like, tactical marine looking style. And I don't think it'd be that hard to just... They make a Terminator's model that looks similar to the Grey Knights, and that's the Dark Angel one. The ones that carry the swords and the maces with the shields. Why can't they upgrade, like... If you get a chance, look at Age of Sigmar. They do have some better looking models um, than 40K. Wow, that's the word I was looking for. They definitely do the demons better. I can't remember their name, but they're like pretty much they're gold guys. The like Space Marine equivalent in Age of Sigmar. Some of those models look good. But they make some good Chaos models. I'm a fan of the Lizardmen, like I've said before. Those are some good models. They do some good undead models. I have painted one before. That arm is looking very nice. Other than that, what was I talking about before? Oh yeah, the Grey Knights. Like, they could just upgrade the Grey Knights already, and they'd be so much better. I don't know what models they've, like, changed from Grey Knights. I don't play Grey Knights, but from what I understand, they are not, like, Primarisified at all. But I don't think it'd be that hard, because just take the Dark Angel, like, Special Terminator armor, paint that silver, give it some of the, like, the spears and stuff that is a part of the Custodian army, and you could do a Grey Knight army that way. Be more expensive because it's $70 for one of those Terminator models. Then you're buying Custodes. But I don't know. GW just needs to upgrade some models. They were supposed to do stuff for Grey Knights. I don't know what they did for Grey Knights. I don't think they did anything good. Wow. Wow. This is... I am seeing I missed a couple spots, but it's going pretty good right now. I'm excited to go to the next step after this. Yes, yeah, the Primaris is the redesigned models that GW made. Because from what I understand, 3D printing got a lot better, and like the way of making models got a lot more better, so they could make bigger and more designed models. So they redid it in 2016, I believe, because that's when Guilliman got released. So that's when they remade the Primaris models. But I don't know. I just looked up when, like, Guilliman came out, and that was it. Other than that, I don't know. I always think if I knew about Warhammer a lot sooner, like in high school, I would have got into it, and I'd definitely be a lot different than I currently am about it. But I'm not really sure what I would be like. I don't know. I definitely would have bought the Leviathan box when it came out. Maybe. I don't know. I was just in high school, and I did not have a lot of money in high school. 2016, that's when I graduated. So, might not have been the best year to get into Warhammer. COVID probably would have been the best time to get into it. I think a lot of people did get into hobbies like that during COVID. Trying to do some more detailed stuff with this brush. And it's getting a little hard. A little hard. My phone is buzzing for some reason. I don't know why. I think I need to check what's going on. But I will worry about that in a moment. Yeah. I probably would have jumped over the hurdle a lot sooner. Sorry, I was just reading. I normally game with friends on Monday. Like, four of us play some online games, all that, chat and hang out. And I was just reading the group chat. In that, I asked to switch with them because my friends I play Magic with, they meet up every Monday as well. And they do a Magic game. They play something called a pin game. Pretty much what a pin game is you get a bunch of people together and you do a tournament style of playing. Whoever wins the game wins the pin. It's something I actually accidentally started with them because I brought like a Magic pin from a Magic store over, and they were teaching me how to play Magic, and I was like, hey, whoever wins this wins the pin, and it started a whole thing. So they do that on Mondays, and I think I'm switching my online group buddies day to a different day so I can go play Magic. That is, which I'm kind of happy about because I like to hang out with my friends in person, but I also like my online friends as well. But it will be weird switching it from Monday because it made it look forward to have. There was something to look forward to on Monday at the end of the day of like work and stuff. But now I get to look forward to playing Magic and getting my ass kicked in that. I've only won one game of Magic ever, and that is with my Dragon deck, and I did it once. And it's because other players were focused on each other, and I just so happened to eke out a win. And I've not won a game of Magic since. And before anyone asks, yes, I do have the Warhammer Magic deck. I have Calgar's deck. It's the only Magic deck I wanted after I found out or got into Warhammer. But now I'm also building other decks as well. Let's see, how's that looking in the light? I'm trying to get as much of the white as possible before switching to a new spot. Trying to make it look all together. I just want to so hard fill a bucket full of this paint and just dunk it in and be done with it. That's what I want to do. I wait till I'm on days and midnight shifts and game with my friends. Yeah, I guess whenever you get a chance to like be able to game with people, that's how it works out. I was talking with a friend today, and we were kind of missing doing board game nights because we did a couple board game nights once or twice before with a friend that was really into board games, and we had a lot of fun with that, and we're like, we kind of miss that friend. We kind of miss hanging out and doing that. So I'm gonna try starting a board game night with him again, but he also might show up to the Magic thing on Monday. We're very opposite friends. That kind of me and this other guy. He's very sporty. He's into get a bucket and do like tie dye. I would be okay. I would do it that way. The problem is like one of these paint pots, as I'm sure you know, costs like $3 to $5. How many paint pots do I need to do to be able to tie dye a mini? And to be like, okay, I do the brown first, and then, or I do the blue first. I couldn't do the brown. I'd have to paint on the brown after. I don't know. Maybe I should have did the blue first and then do the brown on top. But I'm just frustrated that it's taking me longer with this model than it is with other minis. But at the same time, the detail on this model is why I like it. There's a lot of detail bits. Do a tie-dye Tyranid. I just had to reread that again. Tie-dye Tyranid. I've seen people do like an RGB style Tyranid, and it looks pretty good. I've seen some very... I've had a few nerd friends, or ones I would consider nerds. I do have a couple now still, but it's always finding friends you can share hobbies with. Like, me and my friends don't all share the same hobbies, and I'm happy and sad about that at the same time. I have many friends that have many different types of worldviews and many different walks of life, and if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be the type of person I am today. I like to think I'm more well-rounded, being surrounded by those type of people. If I had friends that all shared the same view as I did, I would have a very small outlook on life. And I don't think I would be as happy of a person as I am now. Or at least I wouldn't be happy with the person I am now. Because I look at my friends, and my friends are kind of... They pulled me out of the spot that I don't think would have been good for me in the long run. I used to hang out with a group of kids that I would consider country trash. I think they're doing well for themselves now. But they all came from very rough backgrounds. And were all bad influence on each other. And I decided one day that I was sick of those people. And I wanted to go off and make other friends. Yeah. I think it's good to have people that are opposite from you in your life. It's just good to have that. Because I still hang out with the same people I met from high school. And those people from high school, I became friends with their college friends that are now around here. And now I have more friends than I did before. The hard part is all my friends are so far away from me, which is what happens when you become an adult. You all move in different walks of life. Sometimes you keep in contact, sometimes you don't. Your friend group is smaller and you choose to stick around people that you rather keep in your life. Okay. That is a very good friend, Dorzo. That sounds like a homie. That's a homie that you keep close. I I've had friends that I've called. I've not been in situations that I've had that I've had to call a friend to come and help me. I've had a few times. I would say a few times is that I've been the friend that my friends have called for help. Like the same one that I met up with today, who's more the sporty guy. He called me and I helped pull him out of a ditch. But I also had to call another friend to be like, hey, I need your expertise in this. So, I've been the friend that's helped friends. I'm going to turn this so this actually looks down. I've had one friend call me after he broke up with his girlfriend to let me know what he was doing and all that. I called him instantly the next day once I woke up, and he told me what happened, and I was honest with him. I'm still friends with him, but yeah. Mudding buddy? No, not a mudding buddy. I don't go mudding. This was the like middle of winter when the friend got stuck. Unless like I said something else and that's what you're talking about. But no, it was winter. This friend got stuck in a ditch trying to back out of his brother's driveway, and he called me to help get him pulled out. I might have said another buddy, and it got twisted. All just kind of depends. Okay. I'm feeling good. We've made progress. Not as much as I would have liked. Okay, mudding is a thing where I live as well. But for half the year, we get a lot of snow. But we're making good progress. It's not as far as I would have liked. I would have liked to had all this painted in the contrast tonight. And then would have worked on the actual paint on top. But because I'm trying to be precise and make sure I cover everything in this contrast, I'm being a little bit slower. I've had to walk away a few times too. So I have to give myself some slack there. But this Norm Emissary, I think, is going to look really good. I'm not sure what High Fleet... I'm not even sure what I would call the High Fleet that I would base this guy off of. I definitely want my Space Marines to be fighting this Tyranid army. At least like when I do the bases and stuff, I want them to have matching bases so they, when I all lay them out on top on my shelf, I can pretend that they're all in a big battle. Pretty sure my Tyranids would lose very quickly though to my Space Marines, because I have more Space Marine models than I do Tyranids. No, I have a friend, or the same friend. He's surprised I'm not more of a country hick, because my father is more into like mudding and dirt biking and all that, but I never found that stuff to be interesting. I liked sitting at my desk or in front of the computer doing other stuff like that. I mean, I did go into the woods. I wasn't like a set at home and all that stuff. I've had to learn to make more realistic goals. And all that. I'm just going off a comment that someone said earlier, but like, oh, you're still painting this? And I'm like, yeah, I'm still painting this. It's a lot to paint. It's very intricate. There's a lot of detail. And contrast paint doesn't... It's quicker, but doesn't mean it's always going to be quicker. Sometimes you have certain parts on a model that just take a little bit more. So, I don't know. I'm a little bit salty from that, but that's about it. But I think this guy is turning out pretty good. It will be quite a change going from... I think I'll be able to do it. Here it is. I think I can use this deep blue and the regal blue and then using the turquoise on some stuff. Actually, I could use the turquoise where the brain stuff is. That might be a good idea. Instead of the green, make it the turquoise so it actually pops a little bit. But it's still sticking within that blue color. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all. We'll go from there. Trying to hit. It's just all these little nooks and crannies that kind of get annoying on the model. I know not every part of the model is seen by somebody, but I just want to get enough of it so that if someone's looking at it, they're not going to see a very easy one. Yeah, I try to make a list on what next step should be done on models and stuff. Or if I'm like sitting with a bunch of them, because another set I could do is I could paint my friend's Chaos Marines so that we could actually play Kill Team together. Instead of just doing whatever model I wanted to. I do have a whiteboard that I write down like what I want to get done. I need to find my dry erase marker so I can update it. Because I got to take off the Custodes on the list, and I got to switch some stuff around on it. Other than that, I've been coating this brush in paint very slowly. It is growing slowly. I should cover that in blue. I've slowly been creeping up the model trying to get everything. I think I'm doing well. I feel like I'm doing well. Okay. I'm happy I'm painting this guy. I am actually happy. He's been sitting on my shelf and bureau for far too long. He is needed to be painted. And I appreciate everyone that's been sitting and watching me do this and keeping me company through all of it. It has made the process a lot nicer. get up in that ball joint area a little bit more. I wonder if this would have been a better model to like sub-assembly and like I get some parts together and then I paint those parts and then I glue those parts together. I wonder if this would have been a easier model to do that with. Maybe. I'll keep that in mind for the future. I should try sub-assembly at some point. That's how I can get better detail and probably into better spots. Check. I think I'm the only one here. I can leave this open. I forgot his back ankle. Okay. I don't know. Do you got a favorite model, chat? I don't know. I don't know what mine is. It might be like the Blade Guard Vets are my favorite model. They got that very strong knight aesthetic. Thank you, Dorzo. I think he's coming along nicely as well. Actually, if I had to list off each of my armies, what I had as a favorite model, Space Marines, it's the Blade Guard Vets. The Tyranids, it's either the Norm Emissary here or the Hormagaunts. For Custodes, it's their Terminators. For the Guard, it's the Baneblade. Baneblade or... Nope, just the Baneblade. I think the Baneblade is my favorite model from my Guard army. And... yeah, that is my list for my favorite models from each of my armies. I mean, for Lizardmen, I haven't really looked at it that much to like decide what's my favorite model or not. I haven't really built or messed with them a lot either, but I do have enough. Ooh, that is a good model. That is a good model. I've seen that before. I wonder if we could actually make a tank like that in real life. Like, could you actually play a pipe organ and it shoot off rockets? Like, is that possible? I'd like to know. I do kind of wonder, like, when we're going to start having the next, okay, how do I want to word this? I'm curious on when we're going to start having the Sisters of Battle be a real thing, but I'm also thinking of the Crusade as well. Like, when is the next Crusade? I don't want a Crusade. I don't want a Crusade to Jerusalem to begin with. But I'm almost surprised that we don't have a very religious sector in the military to begin with. Like, does the Vatican have an army? Would the Vatican use Sisters of Battle? Or would they hire out other armies to fight their wars? I don't know. I know I'm asking these questions, but maybe I shouldn't know. Give that a quick shake. anything is possible. I don't... I wonder if I should build that. Should I build a tank that is also a pipe organ? Oh, have you guys seen the videos of the guys playing, like, the battle tank game? I think it's... oh god, I can't remember its name. But they're playing, like, a game where you are a tank. Okay, hold on. Dorzo, you're saying, oh, I talk all the time about this. I want to know what the first alien looks like and see what fantasy was closest. If it's 40K, we're fucked. Yeah. Some days I worry that we are, like, moving toward a more dystopian reality. Although Pirate Software kind of puts out a good example. World of Tanks. I was thinking of World of Tanks. Thank you, because I'm going to finish this thought first before I say the next thing. I saw a video of like 3 guys, it might have been 2, were playing World of Tanks. One guy was the driver. One guy aimed the tank, and one guy loaded bottles into this tank. And they actually played with, like, a thing that shot forward, acted like a tank, and then blew out the bottle behind, and then the other guy kept turning around. So they were playing, like, one tank, but actually being a tank crew in World of Tanks. I thought that was really cool, and I wanted to see more stuff like that. That's a lot of, like, rigging and wiring to, like, play one game. Or I'm curious if it was. Like, is it difficult to actually set that up and play World of Tanks like that? Or could you... I don't know. I'm so curious on how they did it. I want to know. I haven't played World of Tanks, but if I could play World of Tanks like that, I think I would. I would play World of Tanks just to be like that. Make it semi-realistic. No, I haven't seen VR... Palov? Parlov? It might be Parlov is how that's pronounced, but I don't know. No, I haven't seen it. I don't watch much VR stuff games. I don't have a VR headset. I would like to get one at some point, but I've never had the space for a VR headset, nor have I considered, like, spending the money for that. Oh, that's cheeky. That's so cheeky. I love it. That, honestly. Because, I mean, that's something you can do in real life. Like, you can just hit a button and then release your opponent's magazine from a gun. Oh, that's funny. I know there's a bit of white. There it is, right there. Trying to find every little nook and cranny. Okay, we're almost done with the hands, and then we'll move on to the face, and then the back little tentacles. And then from there, I think we will... I don't have my wet palette made. I might call it once I get all this blue contrast paint on. Try to get this looking nice, and mesh. I'm definitely already noticing some like touch-up spots I gotta do. Yeah, you're definitely right. There's not like any very interesting VR games out there. There's like a couple I'd try here and there. Like I do Beat Saber. I'd probably do a couple other ones. But there's not really been any like big VR game out, I would say. I don't know if the technology is there or not, or if the companies are just not interested in it, or what. I know they made Skyrim for VR headset, but I'm not sure how I feel about that. I feel like if I was gonna play Skyrim, I'd want one of those like walking pads as well that I've seen VR headset people use to give like a semi-realistic way of playing. Like, although I'd be tired as hell. Or did I miss it's Tuesday? Well, if you're heading off for the night, Dorzo, I hope you enjoy yourself. But yeah, no worries if people can make it or not. I'm just streaming the stream at this point and going from there. I hope you enjoy yourself, and I hope you get a little bit of rest. You know, that's a good way to use VR chat. Just to keep in contact with your friends and be in it. I played VR chat for like a little bit. And I just sat and people watched. I didn't interact with anybody or do anything. Because I was doing this on like my computer too, so I couldn't do too much. Either. So it was I don't know. Also, I know VR chat has like a really bad like rap with some stuff. I know there's a lot of VTubers that started as VR chat people and then moved over to streaming and stuff. I know today like a big. Nah, I won't mention it. Such a big contrast between that blue and brown. I know there's plenty of fun maps on VR chat. I don't know if there's like the people, like I said, there can be kind of weird depending on where you go and all that stuff. Sometimes when you overlisten to conversations that other people are talking about, and you're like, should you really be talking about this in public? Here we go. Shake this up real quick and go again with it. I've used quite a bit of paint in this pot, I feel like. Most of it is just going everywhere on these guys. Just keep seeing little parts that need more paint here and there. Look at that. I really hope we're not in the 40k universe, because I don't want to ever meet a Tyranid. Although, if the Tyranids are real, they're very far off from our universe. Like, the only reason why the Tyranids even showed up was because, like, Dantiox from the Horus Heresy, he, like, blew up a piece of this big, like, alien thing, and that big, bright explosion is kind of, like, the reason why the Tyranids started moving this way. Which I kind of feel bad. Like, Dantioch did it to, like, save his friends and save people, but you might have brought the most horrid thing to our galaxy. Although, I feel like if I was in the 40k universe, I would try to put the Necrons and Tyranids together as much as possible. Because neither one of them is affected by the warp, so the Tyranids' whole psychic thing wouldn't matter. It wasn't Dantioch's fault, from what I understand. He was helping the... This was during the Horus Heresy. He was an Iron Warrior that went against Perturabo. So he helped out the Emperor and stuff during the Horus Heresy. And he blew it up so that the traders wouldn't get this like thing that worked as a budget like chair for the Emperor. Like the Emperor didn't sit on it, but it did the same thing. Like it worked as a lighthouse. And it was able to teleport people too. And with that being the fact, and the traders were coming in and getting it, he blew it up so that they couldn't teleport or use it for themselves. With the sad thing being that, you know, it might have brought the Tyranids here because they would have just been floating on by and never even noticed us. But yeah, I think if we put the Tyranids and the Necrons together fighting, that might be how we take care of the Tyranids. Because the Necrons have some very crazy technology that just might be able to wipe out the Tyranids, who knows? And neither of them are affected by the warp. So, like I was saying, the Tyranids' whole psychic thing wouldn't really matter. Yes, the Tyranids are a hive mind. They work in one faction or group, but the Necrons don't have any biomass. So if they just did stuff to whittle down the Tyranids' biomass supply so that they couldn't do anything, they couldn't, you know, make more biomass, do this or that, I think they would just they would just win over time, unless the Tyranids evolved some way of like being able to live without the biomass they needed or do something crazy. But I don't know. Show me a germ that can survive like lava or something, or living in bleach, and then I would consider the Tyranids actually winning against the Necrons. Yeah, that's true. The Halo rings was also... Oh god. What if that's what happens with 40k, is just they make a giant thing that has all the DNA of every single alien race in 40k in it, and then they blow it up and then they restart it, and then that's how like the great game continues. The warp goes quiet, but it will restart again once life begins. Although I did also hear somewhere that the Tyranids might be like a creation of the old ones, and it's how the old ones are clearing out the galaxy so they can come back and like rebuild everything. from their war with the Necrons and the Eldar and stuff, because I think there is still some old ones around, just not active. Because, like, they fled. And I think the Chaos Gods did technically kill some of them after they got weak, but I don't really know. Almost done. I figured I'd do these tentacles because they were going to be a pain to do last. So I will do the face last. I'm doing these now. And here's another thing. The Necrons could also... What? The Catan are separate from the old ones. The Catans are like the god of the material world, and the old ones were the gods of the warp before the Chaos Gods, from what I understand. The Catan couldn't really mess with the Immaterium and the warp, so they, after the Necrons lost to the old ones the first time, the Catan then, one of the Catan showed up and said, hey, we can help you beat the old ones. We've been fighting them for a while too. And then did the whole soul transfer with the Necrons, made them the Metal Boys that they are today. And then once the Necrons beat the old ones, they then turned around on the Catan and defeated them, because their leader had still kept enough of his soul, or his... he pretty much kept enough of his freedom, that's what I'm looking for, to be able to, like, turn around and attack the Catan. That's another thing I don't know if I would want the Teams to eat, because if you kill a Catan, you destroy a fundamental thing in the universe. Thank you. I will make sure. Here, I'm gonna copy that right now, and I'm gonna have that sitting on another page. So once I'm done here, I will watch it. Thank you for reminding me, because I would have forgotten. It was nice talking to you, Dorzo. I'm only going to be on for probably a few more minutes and probably call it there, because I got just the head here to do, and that's it. And then I'm going to call it and probably work on a video. And finally get something out. Okay. I'm trying to get everything. There we go. This has come along so nicely. And this is just the base layer. It's taking me this long just to do this. I do feel a little slow, but it's been at my own pace. I'm just trying to get enough contrast on. There's a lot of nooks and crannies that I want to get on this model. Okay. We're almost done with the chat. We're almost done with it. Well, I'm almost done for the night. That's all I'm going to say. I'm losing a little bit of steam. Definitely losing that steam. Oh, damn, that's in a tough spot. Damn. Yeah, this is when sub-assembly would have been better to do. See if I can even get a brush around there and do anything. Guess I can. That I can. Just a little more. Okay, I think for tonight, I'm going to call it. Do I have a little bit more that I can do? Yes, there is a little bit more that I can do. But for tonight and this stream, this is good enough. All I've been able to do, it might not look perfect, but I was able to put the contrast paint on, or the brown contrast paint on, and put on this. So I primed this model in black first, and then I tried to do a Zenithal highlight or like airbrush style with a white primer on top, and that is what I primed this model in. Kind of caught at a bad time there, Dill. I'm just finishing up for the night and just showing off all that, but I primed it in black and white, and then I put contrast paint. I would butcher this name, but it's like Goratza Brown. Nice. I've not used Vallejo yet. I do want to try it at some point. I've mostly stuck with... For contrast paints, I've used Citadels, and I've used Army Painter with all that. But yeah, I used this contrast paint, and then this Leviathan Blue for the body. And then next stream, I'm going to use a mixture of Burgundy and Oak Brown on these browns here. And then I'm going to use a mixture of dark blue, this lighter blue, and these two turquoise colors. And put that on the blue there. I'm kind of inspired by High Fleet Typhon that came out recently in the Kill Team box, but I don't know. I wanted to, I don't know, just paint some colors in contrast, see what I could come up with, and I think this is a good base and a start. So, I will have a next stream on Tuesday in July, so about in like 2 days I'll have another stream up, and I will probably continue this guy. If not, I will also be doing my Space Wolf. I bought the Space Wolf box a while ago. Ooh, okay. I'm going to finish what I'm saying, and then I'm going to reply to what you said, Dill. If I don't do this, I will be continuing to kit bash the Space Wolf box I bought into Dark Angels Dark Angels and Salamanders. Like the new Space Marine box that came out for those two. That is what I will continue to be kit bashing. But I think most likely I'll be sticking with doing this guy for a little bit longer. Now, to reply to what you said, yeah, fully stay tuned. Buying the Industrial box, I fully recommend that. I have a video on my channel about, you know, how that's one of the better ways of getting into Warhammer in the beginning. It's very easy for you and a friend to split that, and if you want to buy it yourself, it's not that expensive either. I personally bought myself the one that came with Titus, but I think the regular one is a lot better. That comes with like the same amount of Tyranids, but then you get the Infernus Marines. I think that's a better deal than the special Titus one that came out. But anyways, thank you all for tuning in. Sorry for those that are just catching me at the end. I am going to get some rest and just enjoy the rest of my evening. I want you all to go out there and make something awesome. I know you will.